Have you ever wondered if the quarter in your pocket could be worth a fortune? Some rare quarters have sold for unbelievable amounts, far beyond their face value. In this video, we're revealing the top 5 most expensive quarters ever discovered, with some selling for millions of dollars. You won't believe how much these small coins are truly worth. Welcome to HD Coins World, where we uncover the rarest and most valuable coins in circulation. Today, we'll show you what to look for when checking a quarter's value, the key features that make these coins worth a fortune, and how to spot a hidden treasure in your own collection. So, if you've ever wondered whether your spare change could hold a rare gem, you won't want to miss this. Let's dive in and uncover these incredible million-dollar quarters. Let's start. Number 1. Imagine holding a simple Washington quarter in your hand, something you've probably seen 1,000 times before. But what if I told you that one specific 1974 quarter could be worth a life-changing fortune? Most quarters from this year are just pocket change, but a few rare varieties have stunned collectors with their jaw-dropping value. So, how do you know if you're holding one of these rare treasures? It all comes down to a few key details: mint errors, die varieties, and striking anomalies that can turn an ordinary quarter into a collector's dream. Some errors are so subtle they go unnoticed by the untrained eye, while others are dramatic enough to make headlines in the numismatic world. The first thing to examine is the coin's overall condition. High-grade quarters with sharp details and little to no wear always attract collectors. But condition alone isn't enough. The true fortune lies in rare errors, double dies, off-center strikes, and even the rare silver-clad planchet errors that occurred by mistake. Imagine a 1974 quarter accidentally struck on a 40% silver planchet. This mistake alone could push its value into the stratosphere. One of the most fascinating error varieties is the doubled die obverse. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin imprints a slightly shifted or doubled image, often noticeable in the lettering and the date. A well-preserved double die 1974 quarter can be worth an impressive sum, but a combination of multiple rare features. That's where the real treasure lies. Another valuable factor is the mint mark. While most 1974 quarters were struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, collectors often hunt for those with unique strike characteristics or experimental compositions. Some researchers speculate that a few 1974 quarters were struck using leftover silver-clad blanks from earlier years, creating an extremely rare hybrid coin. Finding one of these rare quarters requires patience and a keen eye. But here's the exciting part: these valuable coins are still out there, circulating among everyday pocket change. You might come across one in an old coin jar, a roll of quarters from the bank, or even as change from a recent purchase. Now, here's a question for you. Have you ever found an unusual quarter in your change? Maybe one with a strange mint error or an odd color? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your discoveries. And now for the moment you've been waiting for, the shocking value of the rarest 1974 Washington quarter. Depending on the rarity and condition, some have sold for between $91,000 and $150,000. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Experts believe that in the future, this coin could cross $1 million in value. So next time you're handed a quarter, don't just toss it into a vending machine. Check it carefully. You might be holding a fortune in the palm of your hand. Number 2. Every day, millions of quarters pass through our hands, used for coffee, parking meters, and quick transactions. But what if I told you that one specific quarter from 1990 could be worth a small fortune? That's right. Hidden among the countless Washington quarters minted that year is a rare variety so valuable that collectors are willing to pay thousands to own it. What makes this 1990 quarter so special? It all comes down to a combination of rarity, mint errors, and striking anomalies. While most quarters from this year are common, a few escaped the U.S. Mint with unique characteristics that dramatically increased their value. These errors often go unnoticed by the average person, but for collectors, they are like buried treasure waiting to be discovered. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die obverse, where the lettering, date, or even Washington's portrait appears slightly doubled. This happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between impressions, leaving a distinct but subtle duplication. If you spot this on a 1990p quarter, you could be holding something far more valuable than just 25 cents. Another key factor that drives up a quarter's worth is the planchet material. Occasionally, coins are mistakenly struck on the wrong metal blank, such as a leftover planchet from another denomination. If a 1990p quarter was struck on a nickel planchet, or even a silver-clad blank from previous years, its value skyrockets. The best way to check is by weighing the coin. Any significant difference from the standard 5.67 grams could mean you've found something incredible. Misaligned or off-center strikes are another error to watch for. If a 1990p quarter was struck with an off-center design, where part of the image is missing or distorted, it instantly becomes desirable to collectors. The more dramatic the misalignment, the higher the value. Some extreme off-center errors, where a portion of the design is completely missing, can fetch substantial sums at auction. One of the most intriguing possibilities is the existence of overstruck quarters. This occurs when a coin is mistakenly struck over another already minted coin, creating a blend of two designs. If a 1990p quarter was overstruck on an incorrect blank or an earlier coin, it would be one of the rarest discoveries in modern numismatics. Even standard 1990p quarters in pristine condition can be worth more than face value. Coins with full details, sharp lettering, and minimal wear, especially those graded MS67 or higher, are always in high demand. If you come across a quarter that looks nearly perfect, it's worth getting it evaluated by a professional grading service. Now, here's a question for you. Have you ever found a quarter that looked different from the rest? Maybe one with a strange shine, an unusual edge, or even a slight misprint? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about your discoveries. And now for the part you've been waiting for, the unbelievable value of the rarest 1990p Washington quarter. Depending on the era and condition, some have sold for an astounding $46,000. So next time you get a quarter in your change, take a moment to check it carefully. That tiny coin in your pocket could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Number 3. Imagine walking into a store, handing over a quarter for change, and later realizing you just spent a coin that could have made you a millionaire. Sounds unbelievable, right? But this has happened before, and it could happen again. Today, we're talking about the rare and extremely valuable 1971 Washington quarter, a coin that has shocked collectors with its astonishing worth. Most quarters from 1971 are ordinary, but a few rare varieties and mint errors have transformed some of these coins into true treasures. The biggest reason why some of these quarters are worth an unbelievable amount is due to minting errors. Double die obverse, off-center strikes, and even coins struck on silver planchets have all been found, and these mistakes make them worth thousands, sometimes even more. One of the most fascinating errors is the silver planchet mistake. The U.S. Mint had stopped producing silver quarters after 1965, but a few 1971 quarters were accidentally struck on leftover 40% silver blanks from previous years. These are nearly impossible to detect with the naked eye, but their weight gives them away. A normal clad quarter weighs 5.67 grams, but a silver error coin is slightly heavier. If you ever come across a 1971 quarter that feels different, check its weight. It might just be a fortune in disguise. Another highly valuable error is the double die variety. This happens when the die used to strike the coin imprints a slightly misaligned second image, creating a doubling effect on the date, lettering, or even Washington's portrait. Some collectors have found 1971 quarters with this rare doubling, and when in top condition, these coins sell for jaw-dropping prices. The condition of the coin also plays a huge role in its value. Coins graded MS67 or higher, meaning they have nearly perfect surfaces with no wear, are extremely rare and can fetch staggering amounts at auction. Even a minor difference in grade can mean the difference between a few $100s and tens of thousands. But what really makes the 1971 quarter a collector's dream is its performance at auction. These coins have shocked experts with their sale prices. Some have gone for between $98,000 and $150,000, but here's where things get truly mind-blowing. In auction, its value is unbelievable, sometimes worth millions. Now, let's talk about two quarters that have sold for unimaginable amounts. One was the 1970 S quarter, mistakenly struck on a 1941 Canadian silver quarter. This ultra-rare error made headlines when it sold for over $60,000. Another legendary sale was a 1932 D Washington quarter, the first year of the Washington Quarter series. It's already rare, but in near-perfect condition, it once sold for over $400,000. These sales prove that rare quarters can be worth far more than anyone expects. Now, here's a question for you. Have you ever found a quarter that looked different from the rest? Maybe one with a strange shine, unusual weight, or a slight doubling in the design? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your discoveries. So before you spend your next quarter, take a closer look. That little coin in your hand might just be worth more than you ever imagined. Number 4. Think about the number of quarters you've handled in your lifetime, used for parking meters, vending machines, or simply tossed into a jar. But what if one of those quarters was worth tens of thousands of dollars? That's exactly the case with a rare 1994 P Washington quarter that has taken collectors by surprise. Hidden among the millions of quarters minted that year, a few special coins have become some of the most valuable in circulation today. So, what makes the 1994 P quarter so special? It's all about rarity, minting errors, and condition. While most quarters from this year are common, some contain unique characteristics that make them highly sought after. The key is knowing what to look for. One of the first things collectors check for is striking errors. A double-dyed verse, where the design appears slightly doubled due to a misalignment in the minting process, is one of the most valuable types of errors. If the date, lettering, or even George Washington's portrait appears duplicated or slightly offset, you could be looking at a highly valuable coin. Another important factor is the presence of off-center strikes. When a coin is struck incorrectly, causing part of the design to be missing or pushed to one side, its value increases significantly. The more dramatic the error, the higher the price collectors are willing to pay. One of the rarest possibilities is a 1994 P quarter struck on the wrong planchet. Occasionally, a quarter is mistakenly struck on a blank intended for another coin, such as a nickel or even a proof planchet used for collector's edition coins. If a 1994 P quarter looks different, weighs differently, or has an unusual metallic sheen, it might be an extremely rare error coin. Speaking of proof coins, it's crucial to recognize the difference between a standard 1994 P quarter and a proof version. Proof quarters are specially struck with a mirror-like finish and sharper details, often sold in collector's sets. While these coins are not usually found in circulation, some have been mistakenly released, making them incredibly rare. A proof quarter accidentally released into circulation could be worth a substantial sum. Coin condition plays a massive role in value. Coins graded MS67 or higher, meaning they have near-perfect surfaces with no visible wear, are worth significantly more than worn-down versions. If you find a 1994 P quarter that looks untouched, it may be worth getting it professionally graded. Now, here's a question for you. Have you ever found a quarter that looked unusual? Maybe one with a strange shine, missing details, or a thicker rim? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your discoveries. And now, for the part you've been waiting for, the incredible value of the rarest 1994 P Washington quarter. Depending on its rarity and condition, some have sold for an astonishing $42,000. So before you spend your next quarter, take a closer look. That little coin in your hand might just be worth more than you ever imagined. Number 5. Imagine pulling a brand new quarter from your pocket change, only to discover it's worth far more than 25 cents. That's the reality for some lucky collectors who have found rare and valuable 2022 D Wilma Mankiller quarters. These coins, part of the American Women Quarters program, honor an important figure in U.S. history, but a few of them have something extra that makes them worth thousands of dollars. Wilma Mankiller was the first female principal chief of the Cherokee Nation, a trailblazer who fought for indigenous rights and representation. Her image on the 2022 D quarter is already a piece of history. but certain versions of this coin are far more valuable than their face value. Whether due to minting errors, unique features, or limited high-grade conditions, collectors are paying top dollar for specific varieties of this quarter. So, what should you look for? One of the most important factors in determining value is the presence of mint errors. Some of the most valuable error coins include die cracks, misstrikes, and double die variations. If you notice any unusual details, such as extra lines, blurry text, or a shift in the design, you could be holding a highly valuable coin. Another key feature to check is off-center strikes. If a quarter was struck with a misalignment, leaving part of the design missing or cut off, it instantly becomes more desirable to collectors. The greater the misalignment, the more valuable the coin. One of the rarest errors that could appear on a 2022 D quarter is a planchet mistake. Sometimes, coins are accidentally struck on the wrong type of blank, such as a blank meant for a different denomination or metal composition. This kind of error is nearly impossible to detect without weighing the coin, but if your quarter feels lighter or heavier than usual, it could be an extremely rare find. Proof quarters are another category to recognize. These special coins are minted with extra precision, resulting in a mirror-like finish and sharp details. While proof quarters are not meant for circulation, some have been mistakenly released, making them incredibly rare and valuable. A proof 2022 D Wilma Mankiller quarter found in circulation could be worth a significant amount. Condition is everything when it comes to value. Coins graded MS67 or higher, meaning they have near-perfect surfaces with no signs of wear, are in high demand. If you find a 2022 D quarter that looks flawless, it may be worth having it professionally graded. Now, here's a question for you. Have you ever found a quarter with an unusual shine, missing details, or an off-center design? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your discoveries. And now for the moment you've been waiting for. The most valuable 2022 D Wilma Mankiller quarter has been known to sell for an astonishing $32,000. So before you spend your next quarter, take a moment to examine it. That tiny coin in your hand might be far more valuable than you ever imagined. Number 6. Have you ever stopped to look at the quarters in your pocket? Most people see them as nothing more than small change, but some quarters are worth far more than their face value. One such coin is the 1988 D Washington quarter, a rare and highly valuable piece that collectors are paying top dollar to own. Could you have one of these hidden in your collection? The 1988 D quarter was minted in Denver, and while millions were produced, only a small number have become incredibly valuable. The key to finding one of these rare quarters lies in identifying mint errors, special features, and overall coin condition. If you know what to look for, you could be holding a fortune in your hands. One of the most significant factors that determine a quarter's value is the presence of mint errors. Some of the rarest 1988 D quarters have noticeable doubling in the text or design elements. A double die error, where the coin's design is struck twice but slightly misaligned, can make a coin worth thousands. If you notice any doubling on the letters, Liberty, or In God We Trust, you might have an extremely rare variety. Another error that makes certain 1988 D quarters valuable is an off-center strike. This happens when the blank coin isn't properly aligned with the dies, causing the design to be printed off to one side. The more extreme the misalignment, the more valuable the coin. One of the rarest mistakes is a quarter struck on the wrong planchet. Some 1988 D quarters were accidentally struck on blanks meant for other denominations, like nickels or foreign coins. These error coins can be identified by their unusual weight or metallic composition. If you find a quarter that looks or feels different, weighing it might reveal a valuable mistake. Proof quarters are another highly collectible category. While proof coins are usually made for collectors and not meant for circulation, some have been mistakenly released. A proof 1988 D quarter will have a highly reflective, mirror-like surface with sharp, detailed features. If you come across one of these in circulation, it could be extremely rare and valuable. Condition plays a major role in determining a coin's worth. Coins graded MS67 or higher, meaning they have sharp details and no signs of wear, are in high demand. A well-preserved 1988 quarter could be worth significantly more than one with visible scratches or marks. If you think you have a high-quality quarter, getting it graded by a professional service could confirm its true value. Now, here's a question for you. Have you ever found a quarter with an unusual shine, missing details, or an off-center design? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your discoveries. And now for the moment you've been waiting for. The rarest 1988 Washington quarter has been known to sell for an astonishing $42,000. So before you spend your next quarter, take a closer look. That small coin in your hand might be worth far more than you ever imagined.